I have a confession to make. I have a severe extraction shooter fatigue. Historically, I kind of hate the genre in general. But when Bungie announced the free marathon server slam, I figured, hey, zero financial risk, right? I love Destiny 2. I honestly think it has some of the best gunplay in any shooter, period. So the question was, could Bungie finally make the genre click for a hater? Just to set the expectations right away, these are strictly my marathon first impressions. This is not a definitive review. I put in about 5 hours total during the slam, and honestly, the vibe check right out of the gate is pretty strong. You start the game with a very short and sweet tutorial. You basically just walk into a building, loot some items, get to the extraction point, and that's pretty much it. Then at the extraction point, you get to fight some of these robot-looking NPCs, which is great. I personally don't see much reason to have a longer tutorial than this. It gets straight to the point and does the job quite well. Let's break down the actual moment-to-moment experience. Right away in the tutorial, you can tell the game looks gorgeous. I absolutely love this kind of a neon aesthetic. I understand the feedback from people saying it's ugly or looks too blocky, but personally, I would take this over generic, glossy Unreal Engine 5 slop any freaking day. It has style and personality, which is severely lacking in modern games. After the tutorial, get to the menus. Now, they aren't completely confusing, but the UX side, it definitely needs work. I feel like they went a bit overboard with the visual design and just kind of forgot about the user experience entirely. It's not terrible, but some streamlining has to happen. Clicking multiple screens deep just to find something is never good user experience. You should be able to get into most menus right from the homepage. Then there are the characters. I'm really digging the designs here. They all have their own unique flavor and slightly unique kits. Seeing one of the characters act as a support does raise the question of how the solo mode is going to play out though. I have a feeling it's going to be balanced heavily towards the 3-man queue, but visually, they're all very cool. You don't get that EU feeling like you do looking at characters from Concord or Highguard, but ultimately the game being pretty doesn't matter if the guns feel bad. The biggest positive after the visuals is the gunplay. That signature Bungie gunplay is just so good. The way these guns feel to shoot is absolutely perfection. Now, the movement definitely feels a bit slower and sluggish compared to Destiny, but I actually think this kind of a slower pacing works much better for an extraction shooter. It creates a risk versus reward dynamic where you really have to think about using your movement resources. You can't just be sprinting around aimlessly. The flip side is the time to kill. The TTK is ridiculously low, and because of that, it really rewards people for camping and ratting. You turn a corner inside a house, and there's barely any time to react before you're dead. I'm sure this gets better once people have more armor and better items, but it makes the initial experience kind of terrible. Also, sometimes the visuals get quite blurry. Like when it's raining, I actually struggle to see enemy players, which can be pretty problematic. But overall, I like the flow of combat in this game. I think they quite nailed it. The shooting is solid. Now, even though I think the gunplay and aesthetics are incredible, this is the part where the game definitely lost me. I just still find the extraction shooter loop incredibly boring. The lows are extremely low, and honestly, there are really no highs in this game at all. I never felt excited to kill someone, I never felt excited to find some loot, and that is a massive problem for a game built around risk and reward looting. There's a single time in my first 5 hours did I go, oh wow, look at this drop. It was basically just me doing my contract, looting random crap, and then extracting, sometimes killing a player at the end, sometimes getting killed, and sometimes having absolutely zero challenge extracting, which somehow made me feel even worse about it. The core loop just doesn't feel rewarding. The loot is uninteresting at best. The gunfights end so quickly, and then it just go next. You just don't care about the pixels in this game, and caring about the pixels should be the main driver for an extraction game, right? That's the whole point. Or at least that's what I hear. On top of that, the learning curve is pretty steep, but I felt like towards the end I fully understood the game already. I don't really see how the loop is going to change from this. This is pretty much the game for the next 100 to 200 hours if you want to keep on playing. And I'm really not sure if I do. But now, here's going to be the hot take of this video. As a Destiny 2 PvP enjoyer, I think this game would have been so much better if they didn't try to chase the extraction game trend. Imagine if they created a solid, standalone arena shooter. Destiny 2 PvP is great, but it completely falls apart because the server structures is dog shit, and because of looting side of the game, the balance is always suffering. Not to mention the absolute bloat in terms of weaponry and characters. If you took this world building, these aesthetics, and this gunplay, and then just ripped all the game modes from Destiny 2 Crucible, it would be a guaranteed banger. You could even create some kind of a gambit mode for PvE players with separate progression system. The potential is pretty much limitless. But since we're not getting that game, we have to judge what actually is in front of us. Well, as you could probably tell from this video so far, the genre hater remains unconverted. I do have to give Bungie some points for letting people check out the game for free with the server slam. It lets people save 40 euros. I just don't think the game is good enough to warrant the price tag. I do understand why it's there though. These kinds of games are pretty much make or break depending on how they handle cheaters. So that barrier to entry has to be there. Even though the game isn't for me, I'm still hopeful it does well enough. If this game flops, it might be over for Bungie, and then we will never get Destiny 3. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that there's enough of player base for this game. I don't think they'll be too happy if they only reach kind of a niche audience. That's pretty much my take on Marathon. So I want to hear from you guys. After playing the slam or watching the gameplay, is Marathon worth it for you? Are you skipping or are you buying? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.